Jefferson County Court at Law number 2 is back in session. Court is in session in 3 cases. First case is cause number 327-825. Next case is cause number 327-829. And the third case is cause number 331-893. All 3 cases are styled the state of Texas versus Nathaniel Deshaun Allen. Mr. Allen, is that your full name?
This is Deshaun Paul Allen.
Okay, how are you doing, Mr. Allen?
Doing
That's good. Mr. Allen, you're here represented by your attorney Langston Adams. Attorney Adams, how are you doing?
Doing well.
Mr. Adams, what is your announcement in Mr. Allen cases?
Trial.
Okay, give us a reset date. Okay, this case is reset for February 6th for trial, February 6th of 2023. Mr. Allen, your attorney, Mr. Adams, will be resetting your cases. He's going to sign for your reset. Mr. Adams, would you please sign for his reset? And once you get your reset from your attorney, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay,
Appreciate you.
just please stand over there and sign for his reset.
Sure. Yep.
Next case is cause number 330-713, case of style of state of Texas versus Sherman Lee Roberts or Sherman Lee Roberts Jr. Mr. Roberts, would you please come forward? Mr. Roberts, is your full name Sherman Lee Roberts or Sherman Lee Roberts Jr.?
No.
Okay, Sherman Lee Roberts. Okay. Mr. Roberts, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Roberts, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Mr. Roberts, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Roberts? I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking, Mr. Roberts. You're here represented by your attorney Langston Adams, Attorney Adams. Do you waive a record in Mr. Roberts' case?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Roberts, I have before me a document that is titled information. This information alleges that on or about September 14th of 2021, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, operating a motor vehicle in a public place, that you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of driving while intoxicated with an alcohol concentration level of 0.15 or more. Mr. Roberts, do you understand what you've been charged with? And to this charge, Mr. Roberts, how do you plead guilty, not guilty, and no contest? Now, you pleaded no contest freely and voluntarily? And are you pleading no contest because you do not wish to fight or contest the charges? Mr. Roberts, I have before me a document that is titled misdemeanor plea admonishment. This is also labeled as State's Exhibit Number 1. Do you recognize this document? On page 2 of this same document, Mr. Roberts, there's a set of initials, SR, that are on a line next to a box that's checked nullo contingere, which means no contest. Did you place your initials on this document? On page 3 of this same document, Mr. Roberts, there's a signature above the line that is titled defendant. Is this your signature? On the next document, it's titled trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal. Do you recognize this document? And is this your signature above the line that's titled defendant? At the top of this document, there are 2 boxes that are checked. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargaining case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that? The second box that's checked states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that? Mr. Roberts, I also have before me another document on paper that is titled discovery certification. Do you recognize this document?
You recognize the document?
Do you recognize this document? And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant? Now, Mr. Roberts, before you signed and initialed all of these documents that I've just mentioned to you, did your attorney, Mr. Adams, go over these documents with you? And did you read and understand everything in these documents? And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge? Mr. Roberts, are you a citizen of the United States? State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1, the misdemeanor plea admonishment. And I also have State's Exhibit number 2, the probable cause affidavit in the court's file. State, you like to offer State's Exhibit number 1 and 2?
Yes, Your Honor. State offer state 1 and state 2.
Any objections?
None.
No objections. State's Exhibits 1 and 2 are admitted. Mr. Adams, you've advised and counseled Mr. Roberts. Is there any evidence that he's mentally incompetent to stand trial?
None. He's fine.
Mr. Roberts, your attorney, Mr. Adams, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation? Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation? Mr. Roberts, I will accept your plea of no contest. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
We do, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
Your Honor, in exchange for the defendant's plea of no contest in this case, the state is recommending confinement in a Jefferson County jail for a period, excuse me, of 180 days, Your Honor. We're asking that the court suspend imposing that sentence at this time, place the defendant on community supervision for a period of 1 year, Your Honor. Require the defendant to pay a $800 fine, to complete 80 hours of community service, and for the standard UWI conditions, probation conditions to be imposed, including an interlocked body.
Okay. Mr. Roberts, state is offering that you serve 180 days in the Jefferson County Jail. However, you will not have to serve any time in the Jefferson County Jail in this case, because you will be placed on probation for a period of 1 year. During the 1 year probationary period, you will be required to pay a fine of $800 plus court costs of $422, which comes to a total of $1,222. You will also be required to pay probation fees of $60 each month. You'll be required to pay a urinalysis fee of $15 each month. You will also be required to pay the Jefferson County DWI education class an initial evaluation fee of $125 on the day of the plea. Should a further evaluation be needed, you'll be required to pay an additional $50. Now, your total monthly installments, that is the total amount that you are required to pay each month, is $210 a month. Will you be able to pay the $210 each month? You'll also be required to perform 80 hours of community service. You'll be required to attend and complete a DWI education class and have a drug and alcohol assessment. And you'll also be required to install an interlock device on any vehicle that you own or operate, and then you'll be required to adhere to the standard terms and conditions of this probation. Now, Mr. Roberts, do you understand the state's offer? And do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just? And do you accept the state's offer? Mr. Roberts, I will follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Roberts, you're going to stand on the X next to your attorney. You're going to follow the directions of our clerk. Once you finish following her directions, you'll be free to go, and you have a blessed day. Please stand on the X and follow the directions of the clerk.
Roberts, you don't mind placing your right thumb on his signature, please? And then you get it.
Next case is cause number 331599. Case is South State of Texas versus Juan Carlos Contreras. Mr. Contreras, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Contreras, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Contreras, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Contreras, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Contreras?
Very good, sir.
That's good. Mr. Contreras, you represented by your attorney Langston Adams. Attorney Adams, do you waive a record in Mr. Contreras' case?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Contreras, in cause number 331599, I have before me a document that is titled information. This information was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. In this information, it alleges that on or about December 20 to 2021, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class B misdemeanor offense of accident involving damage to vehicle. Mr. Contreras, do you understand what you've been charged with? And to this charge, Mr. Contreras, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
Now you pleading no contest freely and voluntarily? And are you pleading no contest because you do not wish to fight or contest the charges? Now, Mr. Contreras, I also have before me a document that is titled misdemeanor plea admonishments, also labeled as State's Exhibit Number 1. Do you recognize this document? On page 2 of the same document, there are a set of initials that are on the line next to a box that's checked nolo contendere, which means no contest. Did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 3 of this same document, there's a signature above the line that is titled defendant. Is this your signature?
Yes, sir.
On the next document, which is titled trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant?
Yes, sir.
There are 2 boxes that are checked at the top of this document. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that? Second box that's checked states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that? And Mr. Contreras, I also have before me another document. This document is titled Discovery Certification. Mr. Contreras, do you recognize this document? And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant? Now, Mr. Contreras, before you signed and initialed these documents, did your attorney go over these documents with you? And did you read and understand everything that he went over? And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge? Mr. Contreras, are you a citizen of the United States? State. I have before me State's Exhibit Number 1, the misdemeanor plea admonishment, and State's Exhibit Number 2, the probable cause affidavit that is in the court's file. State, like to offer States 1 and 2?
You're trying to state over stage 1 and stage 2.
Any objections,
No.
Mr. Adams? No objections. State's Exhibit 1 and 2 are admitted. Mr. Adams, you've advised and counseled Mr. Contreras. Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No.
Mr. Contreras, the attorney, Mr. Adams, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation? Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Contreras, I will accept your plea of no contest. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given, and I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. And Mr. Johnson,
Yes, Your Honor.
do we have a plea bargain agreement in this case?
We do, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
In exchange for the defendant's plea of no contest in this case, Your Honor, the state is recommending confinement in Jefferson County Jail for a period of 5 days. Your Honor, we're asking that the court give defendant credit for 5 days previously spent in jail, making this a time served plea agreement. And lastly, Your Honor, we're asking that the court use the time served to both tax and retire his court costs.
Okay, Mr. Gutierrez, the state is offering that you serve 5 days in the Jefferson County Jail. You will not have to serve any more time in the Jefferson County Jail because you've already served 5 days in the Jefferson County Jail. Therefore, you'll be given credit for time served. The court cost in this case is $337, but you would not have to pay the $337 court cost because the time that you spent in jail has already paid it off. Therefore, the court costs will be taxed and retired. Mr. Contreras, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
And do you think that the state's offer in this case is fair and just? And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Gutierrez, the court will follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Gutierrez, you're gonna stand on the X next to your attorney. And you're gonna follow the directions of our clerk. Once you finish following her directions, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day.
So you need to roll. Just on,
Hold on a minute. Look at this.